And now to relive today's action in the Lombard RAC Rally.
They're under starters' orders and they're ready for the off. The 4-day steeplechase with a difference. There are fences, but also logs, ditches and rocks. And the natural elements too. Fog, snow, ice and rain. And bags of horsepower. The first of the 2 million or so spectators expected over the next few days trek towards the great Yorkshire Showground. I'm Andy Smith, with me co-driver Mike Broad after a score of Lombard RAC rallies.
The route today consisted of 9 stages, a total of just 30.94 miles. It featured the stately homes of Chatsworth and Weston, the fast tarmac of Clumber, Sutton Park and the Alton Park race circuit, and the mixed surfaces of the Harrogate Showground, Rother Valley, Donington and Trentham Gardens.
And no doubt that the event retains its immense popularity, and among the stars they appreciate most here, the defending world champion Carlos Sainz. Winner last year, second the year before. A phenomenal record for a man still relatively new to the sport. The Toyota first off, although last night they had a bit of a scare at scrutineering.
The Toyota failed the strict noise requirements for the British rallies, and the organisers told Chief Engineer Pfeiffer to go away and make the World Champion's car a lot quieter before they would allow him to start the event.
No problems on the opening stage, though, for Carlos Sainz. 2 minutes 26, the initial mark for them all to aim for. Juha Kankkunen, the championship leader, 7 points ahead of Sainz, and needing to finish ahead of him at the end of play on Wednesday to claim his 3rd world title. He has the experience, he has the machinery.
It's his 10th RAC rally. With Juha Peronen since 1986, they've both got vast experience of the UK. Lancia, 5 times consecutively they won the world manufacturer's title. The 16-valve Integrale performs well on both the tarmac and the gravel.
Another man who went well last year, Kenneth Eriksson, second in the Galant and the best of the current Swedish drivers. Genuine enthusiast, he's very pleasant, very easygoing, perhaps lacking the steel and determination to win.
It's his 50th World Championship event. He won the Group A World title for Volkswagen in 1986, putting up some amazing performances. I still predict that when the rally hits the Welsh forests, Kenneth will close the gap.
7th fastest on this stage with the Mitsubishi Galant number 3, holding tight onto that right-hander as away from the start went Frenchman Didier Auriol, one of the surprise packages of a year ago when he came in 5th, the first time that he'd actually seen any of these stages. Second in the championship last year as well, but the suspicion remains that he's perhaps not a good enough all-rounder to beat Sainz and Kankkunen consistently.
And he's trying to prove you all wrong. He's been working very hard on the Lancia suspension since Portugal this year. He was exceptionally quick on the gravel of Sanremo, an event which he won. If he's in the mood, he'll be in the frame.
5th quickest overall on the first stage, Didier Auriol, and that was level with Juha Kankkunen. Now the big Finn, Markku Alén. 20 World Championship wins if Sanremo 86 is counted. Nobody's won more, yet he's never claimed the world title. He'll be with Toyota next year, but here he's flat out for Subaru.
RAC is, what I say, very, very tough, you know, and you see also Kildare now in 2nd time. Last year also practiced how difficult Kildare, and also rally is not finishing until Wednesday. Old Alpi, very fast forest, nobody winning before last stage. Okay, maybe somebody have 5 minutes to win, but you have 1 minute, 1st and 2nd car, not yet win. Alpi is so difficult last day in Wednesday.
Can you remember 3 years ago in this very building, and you brought the Lancia in here first? Happy memories?
That's absolutely fantastic. But I try also now in 91, and I hope he's coming, you know, really. I promised in Subaru taking contract, you know, 2 years ago, 1 victory, and not yet. And I hope now he's coming here. But anyway, difficult.
The Finn, who drives like an Italian in a Japanese car prepared by a British team, and it still seems strange to see him in anything other than a Lancia.
But Markku's got a passion for rallying. He desperately wants to win the RAC rally for a second time. He chuckles when everybody says that he wants to go to Toyota to win rallies. He wants to win this rally in the Subaru.
And he was fastest on the opening special stage, 2 minutes 24, a second ahead of the rest. That Subaru, it looks square and bulky, but it does the job. Francois Delecour, the best of the recent newcomers on the World Championship stage, impressed with a third place on the Monte Carlo at the start of the year. He was fourth in San Remo. He's quick, but will he enjoy the forests?
Well, Ford obviously have got a lot of faith in Francois Delecour. He is going to be a man for the future. And for the RAC rally, he's got to get used to the forests. This time out, he's got a new co-driver, Daniel Grataloup, with a lot of experience, but both of them are new to the RAC.
But he was second quickest on this opening special stage of the 1991 RAC. The Nissan of London-based Swede Stig Blomqvist, back on the event after a 2-year absence. He's won it twice, the first time 20 years ago.
No, okay, it's a long time ago, that's for sure. And okay, never known this rally, but okay, this time now, it's competition is very, very hard.
Has it changed a heck of a lot?
Yeah, okay, especially now with practice as well on RAC, it's changed the whole character of the rally, really. So it's...
And what about your chances on this event?
Okay, I think, okay, everybody has been developed the car, but okay, I think we have done the most anyway since Thousand Lakes. So, okay, you never know, but okay, the car feels good, so okay, we will see how good it is.
Experience talking. Stig's done 81 World Championship rallies, and obviously if conditions favour him and the Nissan, then a top 5 finish is not impossible. He was third quickest on the opening stage. The British hope, Malcolm Wilson, so much to offer, but he's been labelled promising for far too long. 11th quickest on the opening stage, while the British champion Colin, the second of the rallying McRaes, is starting to encourage his dad Jimmy to be thinking about his early days in the sport. He's a definite threat to the big boys.
Colin McRae could be the biggest thing for British rallying. I predict that he will be the person to break the duck for British rally drivers on the RAC rally since Roger Clark. This man is relaxed because he's just won the British title. That's what he's being paid to do. Now he's having fun by doing the Lombard RAC rally.
David Llewellyn in the Nissan picked the wrong tyres and he struggled all the way round off line. And at this right-hander, it was a case of in off the post. After special stage 1, it looked like this. Markku Alén, no surprise there, quickest off the mark.
Second, Francois Delecour for France, just 1 second behind.
Equal third, Carlos Sainz and Stig Blomqvist. 2 seconds off the lead, and Sainz doing the job early on. He's ahead of championship rival Juha Kankkunen.
Special stage 2, Clumber Park, 4.41 miles of very slippery tarmac.
Leaves on this stage made it a difficult one for the Subaru of Markku Alén. He'd taken the early lead by a second. He found it more difficult here.
Delecour, the leading Ford, and enjoying the tarmac of Clumber. He's got to do well today. He doesn't know anything about the forests of Wales tomorrow.
Sainz, meanwhile, is the man who needs to stay ahead of Kankkunen, and on this stage he was finding that a tricky task.
The surprise package, the Nissan, a Stig Blomqvist, going well. The little Nissan, the first time that British fans have been able to see the brand new car built in the UK.
The brilliant Finn, Juha Kankkunen, twice world champion and looking on course for a third world title if he could beat Sainz here.
Sixth, Kankkunen's teammate in the Jolly Club Lancia, Didier Auriol, again a man that likes the tarmac.
And away from the start of special stage 2, one of the rally legends, Hanu Mikkola.
The start of Clumber Park is very fast indeed. For the first mile, to a right-hander over a bridge. Up into 5th gear, flat over the crests, and he just clips, look, the inside onto the grass, and away she goes. Even the best are caught out, but look, nice and calm in the car, Although he hits that post, no damage done to the Mazda. Reverses, says sorry to the co-driver, clears the windscreen and continues. Up into 6th gear, still flat out. Fast right-hander. And you'll notice the trees coming up with the rhododendron bushes either side. Underneath, that is very slippy indeed when he's on racing tyres. Fast right-hander, 150 metres, left, slowing down into 3rd. Hesitant over the crest because the junction is coming. There's the arrow, over the bridge. Warning Harry going left. In fact, he goes right and left.
We've seen some of the other drivers. Hanu, Mikkola.
You've got to get these chicanes right. The barriers are very unforgiving. Back in the car, you can see how greasy and slippy underneath the trees. The driver has got to be very, very aware of the conditions.
Now, if the old master can get it wrong, what about the young lions? Well, as far as Colin McRae in the Sierra number 21 was concerned, he did brilliantly. Second fastest time on the stage, 3 minutes 44.
David Llewellyn, still angry with himself with making a mistake on the first stage, is fastest overall on Clumber. The little Nissan really flying.
And Per Eklund, a brilliant performance from the privateer in the Lancia Delta, 9th quickest over Clumber Park.
And the leaderboard after special stage 2, leading Markku and the Subaru. Second, 3 cars. World champion Carlos Sainz fighting hard. Francois Delecour in the Ford, Stig Blomqvist in the little Nissan, and 5th, Juha Kankkunen.
So 2 of the 37 stages of the 1991 Lombard RAC Rally completed. It had its exciting moments, none more so than this in the Mazda of Hanu Mikkola. Join us on Screen Sport for part 2.
Stand by for NBA basketball at 11.
In pole position, competition's red hot. The car's really buzzing, what a race we got. Get on the race line, he's on the inside. He's outbraked you, you've taken a slide. Scale extrict's the winner. Break off at the corner, open up on the straight. Gotta get past him, cause winning is great. Scale extrict's the winner. Yeah.
Well, perhaps a descendant of the unpleasant pheasant that hampered Kenneth Eriksson's progress last year. Here's the leaderboard after special stage 3, Rother Valley. The championship contenders Sainz and Kankkunen locked together in 4th place. Markku Alén, the overall leader in the Subaru, and enjoying it too. That is, until special stage 4 came along. That was Chatsworth, the longest of the day. Here, Alén punctured and had to run 3 kilometres on a flat left rear tyre. He was only 6th quickest. He lost 11 seconds. But he's always best in a straight line.
That's when Markku does get the car pointing in a straight line. Chatsworth, not his favourite stage. He's rolled there previously.
Didier Auriol, he struggled too around Chatsworth. In fact, he punctured right in front of the packed grandstand. And in all, he lost some 21 seconds and dropped from 2nd place overall down to 10th.
It's rather surprising that Auriol suffered so much with a puncture, as he's on the Michelin ATS that are not supposed to go down.
Francois Delecour, a taste of tomorrow as far as he's concerned in Chatsworth, just 8th quickest.
I think Francois will be very happy just to keep the car in one piece and see how it goes tomorrow.
Looking out here for Carlos Sainz, he achieved a satisfactory time on Chatsworth, averaging around 48 miles an hour on the most difficult stage of the day.
You can see just how wet, twisty and slippy Chatsworth is. I think for 4.5 miles, the most tricky stage of the day.
Sainz, meanwhile, keeping half an eye on Juha Kankkunen, and he was on superlative form in Chatsworth, a treat for the spectators. He took 6 seconds out of Sainz, and with Alain and Delecour and Oriol all falling back, he leapt from 4th overall after special stage 3 to the lead.
David Llewellyn, 13 seconds slower than Kankkunen on this stage, and not liking the water as much as the Lancia.
And Llewellyn's teammate Stig Blomqvist, he put on a terrific show in the other Nissan. He was 5th quickest around Chatsworth, but he knows it could be a different story tomorrow. The Mitsubishi of Kenneth Eriksson, and here, of course, with the co-driver of the year, Staffan Parmander.
Stefan, one of the most popular co-drivers in the World Championship scene. The Mitsubishi, one of the better cars over the bumps.
Malcolm Wilson, and he catapulted into the top 10, indeed into 9th place, better than his best ever finishing position in the event.
Malcolm's never had any luck on the Lombard RAC rally, and he really needs a top 10 finish.
Now starting to look really good. Colin McRae, co-driver Derek Ringer, these two 2nd quickest on Chatsworth, 3 seconds slower than Kankkunen, and up to 5th overall.
And McRae here showing the talent for car control that's made him famous in the British Championship this year.
And of course, Colin McRae has experienced teammates in Markku Alain and in Ari Vatanen. An inspired showing from the Finn on Chatsworth, 6th fastest, getting to grips with the Subaru at last, but still running in his seeded 11th place.
And I must admit, I'm a little surprised that Ari is going so well when he said he was trying to learn the car and go slowly to start with.
On to special stage 5, Donington, partly racetrack, partly on the loose in the middle, and rally drivers, of course, love showing how fast they can drive on circuits.
Donington was this year's super special. Each car starting at 20-second intervals instead of the 2-minute gap as normal. Using a combination of the gravel perimeter tracks, the old pre-war Grand Prix circuit and the modern Donington race circuit. Tyre choice here was a little difficult.
It was strange to see people like Kankkunen and Markku Alain and Carlos Sainz, indeed, all outclassed at Donington. Stig Blomqvist equalled Kankkunen's time, but that was only 10th quickest overall. Francois Delecour, he was equal 6th quickest. And it all left as the star of the show, just like his dad Jimmy, who loves the circuit racing, Colin McRae, just proving that the pre-event publicity has not gone to his head. Almost like the real thing. Into the picture, David Llewellyn, but he'd been off onto the gravel, and that had delayed him. He was thanking his 4-wheel drive. Kenneth Eriksson was only 14th fastest, rounding the Wheatcroft suite. Malcolm Wilson up with Delecour, Duez and his teammate Gwyndaf Evans. Didier Oriol, he set the 5th fastest time here, and that improved him. He was now up to 9th overall. But what about the old fox?
We picked up Hanu Mikkola now just after the start in the old Melbourne hairpin, which was the pre-war race circuit, and it's now going off around the perimeter tracks, in fact through the car park where the Sunday markets are normally held at Donington. You can see there's not much grip for Hanu when he's on the mixture of gravel and racing tyre combined. Coming back onto the inside of the circuit. And close to the racetrack on the right-hand side. With Jonny Johansson giving pace notes, Hanu's concentrating hard to keep the little Mazda in a straight line. Underneath the bridge that saw the big auto unions in the pre-war days flash through, hairpin right onto the circuit, and for those that know Donington, they're now going the opposite way to that which they normally run.
This is the leaderboard after Donington. Markku Alain still out in front. Juha Kankkunen improved to 2nd place with Carlos Sainz right on his tail, just 2 seconds behind. What a great showing from Colin McRae in the Subaru Legacy. 4th place for him. This is Sutton Park, and this is broad country.
Absolutely. For many, many years, Sutton Park was my home. Used to walk the dog here. Seems a little strange to watch it from the outside now, with rally cars racing around the tracks. And a very, very tricky stage indeed.
Markku Alén first through, but he only set what proved to be third fastest time, a second off the pace. Juha Kankkunen quickest again. The Lancia had really picked up, and Kankkunen shot into the lead here.
Coming down towards the Sutton Town gate, in front of all the main spectators and the grandstands.
Carlos Sainz, world champion, but fifth in Sutton. He lost time again to Kankkunen, some 4 seconds, and dropped back to fourth overall. Sainz fighting the Toyota on the slippery surface.
Colin McRae, in the middle of the afternoon with his lights on. Controlling his Subaru with absolute expertise. And McRae, of course, now up to third place.
Stig Blomqvist, equal 8th quickest, and he was now running 5th on the leaderboard. The little Nissan looking fairly sure-footed around Sutton.
And a subdued time by Delecour, just 15th fastest, quite a surprise for a tarmac expert.
Kenneth Eriksson, 12th fastest round Sutton, but even so, that was enough to keep him 7th on the leaderboard overall.
Malcolm Wilson really enjoyed Sutton Park. Must have been something I said to Nicky Grist. Into the top 10 now, 8th overall.
And it did prove to be a quick one from Malcolm and Nicky. 5th fastest round Sutton. Just starting to go really well. But what of Didier Auriol? Again in the Lancia Delta. He thinks he could improve on last year's 5th on the RAC, but he really left himself a lot to do.
Yes, why not? It's sure if I have good feeling, not maybe in the Mickey Mouse, but after in the long stage, if my feeling is very good, I try to do the best, sure.
Didier trying very hard to impress his sponsored, who this year sponsored Sutton Park stage.
Quietly making his way up the leaderboard from 11th place, Ari Vatanen. This is in the 3rd of the Subarus on the leaderboard, but officially the 2nd of the team. So, as dusk fell, Western Park, the other side of the West Midlands from Sutton. Juha Kankkunen in the Lancia, seemingly taking it very easily indeed. 4th place on the overall times in this section was good enough for him.
Markku Alén, only 8th on this stage after a spin, and he lost 6 seconds. A really tricky stage, Western Park, because it's very narrow and you've got to keep it in the tram lines.
Getting better all the time. Brilliant at Western, Stig Blomqvist. Fastest on the stage in the RAC for the first time since 1987.
Colin McRae, 2nd quickest on Western, as the light fails, and Derek Ringer calling the notes.
Two further stages where they needed lights like lasers. Kankkunen in charge with championship challenger Sainz 3rd, 8 seconds behind.
Colin McRae, 2nd overall after a fantastic drive, maybe disappointed there is no reseeding at Chester, so he'll be running over 30 minutes behind the first car in the muddy Welsh forests, and that could be a disadvantage.
2 Nissans in the top 10 and 3 British drivers.
9th equal, Malcolm Wilson in the Sierra, David Llewellyn in the Nissans, the battling Brits, both requiring good results.
Looking at the stage winners on the opening day, and the surprise name that's not included there, the championship challenger, Carlos Sainz. Yet he's only 8 seconds off the lead, with all to play for. Not just the RAC title, but the world title. The first day over, 3 to go. Next, the start of the testing forest stages in Wales. Today it was McRae the star, but it's Kankkunen in control of the rally and the championship, with Sainz waiting for his chance. Remember, Screen Sport's the one to keep an eye to. Don't forget to clock the time.